Now, how about them damn Celtics?
All right, we're back with another Boston Celtics video, another draft video, and today we're looking at Joshua Jefferson out of Iowa State. Excuse me, 6'7" and change, almost 6'8", forward slash big man, kind of a tweener. Kind of plays a little bit of center for Iowa State. Kind of played a little bit of forward. The Ringer has him mocked to the Celtics in, I think it's Danny Chow's latest mock draft. 27th to the Celtics. Good passer, off-ball disruptor. He's a big guy. I watched a little bit of him when I was scouting Koa Pete because Arizona played Iowa State in the tournament, the Big 12 tournament, I believe. The vision board, Trendon Watford, Colin Murray-Boyles, Kendrick Williams, Jarris Walker. So you can get the type a little bit. Based on what I was seeing, I feel like he could play some small ball center. So I kind of like Colin Murray-Boyles. He has a little bit of a jump shot, though. I think he shot 34%. Yeah, 34.5% on 3 attempts. I don't actually love these comps. I think he has a chance to be better than that. 16.4 points, 7.4 rebounds, almost 5 assists at 4.8. Almost a block a game, 1.6 steals a game. Kind of does a little bit of everything, or did a little bit of everything for Iowa State. So a good all-around player. I haven't watched him yet, but I've been very intrigued by Joshua Jefferson.
So I was going to look at him really early in the draft season process. I really need to start looking at the Ringer because this looks great. And I like anytime I pull up these comp or draft stuff, I never go there. I don't know why. Shout out to the Ringer. And I was just kind of dissuaded. It was like, oh, I don't really know what he's going to bring to the table because his 3-point shooting is one of the weaknesses on like every scouting report. He can't shoot the ball really well. He's inconsistent. He's not really athletic. He doesn't have a great quick first step. Like there's a lot of drawbacks to him. And I really hate to start the scouting report off like this because I usually am pretty optimistic on these guys. And I will be because a lot of his strengths outlined by KOC on Yahoo, playmaking, role player skills, rebounding, defensive versatility. In the playmaking, he was the primary initiator for Iowa State. Dribble handoffs, faced up out of the post, average over 5 assists. He won't have a role this heavy at the next level, but it gives him a surplus of skills as a projected role player. So I'm reading all these things because I read those things and I think about Josh Hart, and maybe it's just because we're watching the finals right now and, you know, the Knicks are playing well and he's been a big part of their success without necessarily having to do a lot of the things that are Jefferson's weaknesses. Like we're watching a player in real time without a great 3-point shot, without a lot of shot creating ability, be overly impactful for a team that's in the finals. So this is all to say that even without those things, he can be impactful, and his ability to impact winning at the next level has yet to be seen. But I'm pretty sure he got hurt early in the tournament and Iowa State really missed him. So take that for what it's worth. He was important to a team that was, I think they were a 2 seed in the tournament this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, listen, he's really good. He did a lot for Iowa State offensively. I'm going to play some of his early season highlights because there isn't a late season highlights from No Ceilings yet, and the only ones I could find are from the Big 12. I will play the Big 12 highlights for his full season later in the video. You might see them, you might not, depending on if they let me post them to this channel. But I'll play again. These are mid-season highlights. These are posted January 1st, so keep that in mind. I will play the later season ones if I am allowed to. But did a lot for the Cyclones offensively in particular. Was a big downhill attacker, as you see here. Big body, despite the fact that he's listed at technically under 6'8" without shoes. So he's probably closer to 6'9" in shoes. He is a big body, great playmaker. I was talking to Tyler Rucker a little bit, and he said unreal playmaker, not a good athlete, but handles the ball all the time and throws ridiculous times as a big, almost if Draymond was offensively gifted instead of defensively gifted. So kind of that build with offense instead of defense. I don't think he's necessarily a bad defender. I just think he really was a huge offensive connective piece for Iowa State this year. As you can see here, him handling the ball, him playing off the ball in the pick and roll, him shooting threes. The 3-point shot doesn't look bad at all. I know you said it was a weakness in a lot of these places that you read, but 34.5% on 3 a game for a big who does as much playmaking as he does, is a big body, is a great rebounder. It's workable. I'll put it that way. It's workable.
Yeah, watching the tape is a little different, right? It's not reading what people tell you. You're making your own things. There's also highlights, but I will say about the jump shot itself, that looks very smooth. Like that is not the jump shot that I expected Joshua Jefferson to have when I was reading all these people write mean things about his ability to put the ball in the basket from a distance. Now, double checking, he was a 72% free throw shooter throughout college, only 70% this season. So if you're a believer in that theory where if you shoot free throws well, you can really evolve as a jump shooter, that's a coin flip as well. So we really don't have anything to go off of besides his form looks pretty good. And there are more than or plenty more ways that he can impact winning beyond just shooting threes, which is an interesting piece. The way that I like didn't gravitate towards him when I was writing scouting reports reminds me last year, like when we were in our pre-draft process on this show, we didn't look at any Ugo tape. We just didn't do them because we didn't know. I think Ugo didn't have a lot of tape for what it's worth. The way these European guys don't have a lot of tape, and he didn't play a lot of minutes for Real Madrid. But it feels very similar in the fact that I was not at all interested. Like we had an extra 2 weeks of draft prep, so we are 2 weeks early to this stage where we're like, oh, all right, who do we look at now? But so far, so good.
I love the connectiveness that it feels like Jefferson could potentially bring to the table. Like this passing, this downhill ability, like it's almost like you're getting the big man depth with the offensive creation that we all think the Celtics, or at least me personally, I know we've talked about on the show, could use at the guard position. I mean, I'm not saying Joshua Jefferson could replace a shot creating guard, but he's definitely a useful connective, offensive creator. It seems sets good screens, very, very comfortable with the ball in his hands. It almost feels like he is what everyone wanted Amari Williams to be a little bit. Like Amari Williams is a good passer, but he's not really a ball handler sort of offensive creator. He's more like, okay, let me get the ball in the high post, let me get the ball top of the key, and I'll find you on a cut. This guy is, I will pound the ball, dribble the ball, I will drive it. I will make plays. I will, I can have the ball in my hands at all times and be very comfortable with it. It doesn't seem like that's Amari's for forte necessarily right now. Working out of the post there, he's a good rebounder. Working out of the pick and roll here, that's a hard screen on St. John's, which I know Darling's. I think that's Darling, not the biggest guy, but good screen nonetheless. There's plenty of small guards in the NBA. Here he is working against the defense. Oh, that was he got the pass and shot there, but I don't know. I like the idea, the concept of Joshua Jefferson. There's a very long playmaking tape and a long defensive tape for us to watch too. So I think all those things will be useful.
Yeah, and I think the length of the tapes is our best use of the what does the bad look like? Well, if the tapes are long, then there's plenty of good at least. And that's a good thing when we do these quick draft check-ins because it's impossible without watching full games like Jack has been to get a real gauge on what the best and worst of a guy looks like. Um, but as we've heard, as we've read, he's able to make the reads with the ball. He's passing well, and like in Kevin O'Connor's description, the role player skills are real. Like you need to be able to make the connecting pass in the NBA. As simple as that may sound, if you're in a rotational passing situation, you need to be able to read it, whether the first pass option is the right one or the defense is overcompensating for being in rotation. You have to really be able to make them pay. And that can make you such a valuable player when you're getting spot minutes. And he's 23 years old. So another thing we've talked about throughout this process is how NBA ready is his body? Are these guys going to be able to contribute right away? How are they going to handle the strength of these professional players? And he seems like he's built real well for it. He's stocky. He doesn't get bumped off his line. He's going straight to the basket on drives. Like he's not really a flashy player in the sense like he's not doing crazy dribbles to get himself inside. He is just strong enough so nobody can bump him off. If he decides he's going, he's going.
Yeah, some of these passes he's throwing are very impressive. I will say the two weaknesses that the Ringer wrote, I think these are from Kyle J. Mann, if I am correct here. These were updated April 29th, so keep that in mind. A lot of creative freedom at Iowa State, which could lead to some sloppiness at the next level, but I'm always going to forgive a couple of broken eggs when players pass a certain level of flair as playmakers. So it sounds like maybe stronger defenses. He says, I think Jefferson could grow here, but in situations when he was facing a set defense and attempting to get downhill, he was vulnerable to back taps, simple digs from nearby helpers, or just losing control of his dribble. So something to keep an eye on at the NBA level. And then also noted that he'll be a below average athlete for his position group in the NBA. So it'll be less about athleticism and more about pace, angularity, processing, and feel. At times would look noticeably hurried or flatter with his shots when working in his favorite spots, et cetera, et cetera. So just something to keep in mind there for sure. Excuse me. So that is also something to look at. But I mean, these passes are very impressive. The control with the ball in his hands. Like, I'm not saying the Celtics would allow him to do this right away, but having a guy who could potentially do some of these things for you out of the pick and roll, who can do some of these things for you with the ball in his hands at the top of the key, it just feels like it would add a little bit more to your center position, especially with the potential of him being a floor spacer. And really, if he does become a floor spacer, capable of playing the four at times, depending on how good his defense looks in these next clips, which I can flip to now.
Just reading through the No Ceilings scouting report written by, don't want to get the name wrong, Jacob Laria. Defense. Go ahead. I got it. Throughout his 4 years, defense is one of Josh Jefferson's calling cards. He's been widely regarded as a pesky physical defender who consistently uses his size and instincts to disrupt offensive possessions. However, given the athletic limitations, it's reasonable to question the defensive translation. For me, it's simple. Jefferson has given way more reasons to be positive about his defensive projection than negative. So a lot of the mental things are there. It's just a question of, can his athleticism keep him in the game at the NBA level, which, I mean, we see unathletic guys in NBA rotations pretty regularly. Like, Kyle Anderson is the comp for him on the Yahoo draft, and Kyle Anderson has been in the league for a long time, and he's played minutes on really like competitive Grizzlies teams. Like, he's been a pretty routinely good player, for
good defender on some Grizzlies teams.
Yes, that's the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've said this a million times. I've said this to the heavens. I've said this in the comments on BSJ. I've said this to you. I've said this everywhere. I think athleticism is the most overrated thing in NBA scouting. By far, because we have seen time and time again. Oh my God, this guy's a freak athlete. Let's draft him in the top 10. Flop. You know what we rarely see? Ooh, this guy's not a great athlete. That's rarely the thing that holds a player back, in my opinion. Like, look at Baylor Shireman. Look at Sam Hauser. Like, these guys, bad athletes, don't really have the hop. They have good feel for the game. They know how to play. They know their spots. Like, intelligence and IQ and feel and skills are more important to me than raw athleticism. Because for every Joshua Jefferson who does literally everything else really, really well, but may not be the best athlete, there's a Sekou Doumbouya or a Josh Jackson who's a freak athlete. Maybe not the best at other things, but we're going to bank on that athleticism. Yep, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, there's examples of freak athletes who turn into great stuff, and there are ultimately examples of guys who just weren't athletic or quick enough to hang at the next level. But everything I'm watching of Josh Jefferson, everything I've heard, all the stats, all of the accolades, scream, this is a guy who knows the game, very skilled, and knows how to play on both ends of the court. And those are all things I care about way more than athleticism, because at the end of the day, it's not like he's unathletic, right? Like, compared to the normal NBA human, these are all freak athletes, him included, Baylor included, Hauser included, all these guys, Jokic included, all freak athletes. Just because they are not Zion Williamson doesn't mean that they aren't athletic necessarily.
Yeah, and it's almost like you should be impressed by the lack of athleticism to some degree. Like, we talk about them, you know, like Jack said, like, everybody that you see on a court, even if they look like they're not athletic, they are athletic. Like, they would show up to a pickup run with us and we would think it's fucking Superman out there, like that kind of thing. And even the guys who are lacking, they are able to compete at a high level. They're still impacting winning at a high level. They're defending at a high level. Like Jack mentioned Shireman, he mentioned Sam Hauser. Like, Hauser was a rotation player on a championship team. Like, he was getting minutes.
I'm
Shireman
playing these.
Go ahead.
Anything we say during these highlights may be edited out, just as a heads up if it doesn't let me play these highlights, because this is Big 12 basketball. Just context. Putting that out there. You might
What
not
team
see
is
the
this?
following.
Who are
I
they
don't
playing
know.
against? Who are these guys?
I don't know what this is, but this
Kansas
is
State.
highlights. Okay. This is
I was
just
just taken aback by those uniforms. It looks like a European team. It looks like they picked out like the local men's league.
it's weird. This is Iowa State's Josh Jefferson NBA draft tape from the Big 12. The Big 12 posted it. That's why I'm saying, like,
Okay.
careful. Just
Oh,
it might not be here.
it's a nasty pass though. Look at that.
Listen, man, he knows the game. I like Josh Jefferson a lot from what I've seen so far. I'm a fan. I watched. Listen, when I was watching the Koa Pete tape, for what it's worth, I'm a little lower on Koa Pete than I was watching the highlights. Not that he's bad. I still think he has a lot of potential, but it's just not perfect. Jefferson was hounding him, just fucking all over him at all times. So I think that's something to note as well.
When we've talked about other players throughout this process, we've kind of come to the conclusion that we don't necessarily feel like the Celtics need more wing depth. Now, I know throughout this video, we have talked more about the prospect of him actually playing as a big man, not as a wing. But does that mean anything to you? Like, what do you feel in that regard? Like, is he redundant at all? Or is he different enough from the rest of those guys? Like, I find it hard to believe personally that he would be like the only center on the floor for the Celtics at a given time.
I think he could be the only center on the floor at a given time. I think they have enough height and length and depth with Jason Tatum and other guys and Jaylen Brown should he still be here, which I think he will be for what it's worth. To play center, I think you can get away with small ball center if you have the length that the Celtics have, and I think he's a strong enough guy. Like he's a big dude. He measured under 6'8" without shoes, but he's 246, 10.75, so 6'11" wingspan. Like he's big. he can
Grant Williams?
make up for some of that stuff. Maybe I think he's bigger than Grant Williams. Grant Williams is like 6'7", 6'6".
Yeah.
So
He's a little shorter, huh?
I think in shoes he'll be closer to 6'9" for what it's worth. And I think he'll play bigger than he is. I don't know. Outside of that, I do think he's different because a lot of the wings the Celtics have on the roster are more, or forwards wings are more wings. Like it doesn't feel like they have a lot of forward depth. They have a lot of wing depth, right? Like I can't really like you could get away with it, but in my opinion, Ugo, Ron, Baylor are all like kind of 1 through 3 guys, like mostly 2, 3, but 1 through 3 guys. Jordan, you can get away with it power forward a little bit, but he's on the skinnier side. Joshua Jefferson is more like a 4-5 in my opinion. Like I don't think he'll be playing much 3. So I think he is different enough positionally to give you the versatility you need. He's also probably a better like he puts the ball on the floor more than most of their wings and bigs can outside of Jason Tatum. He's not Jason Tatum, but like Nimish Queta doesn't really dribble the ball and make plays. Luka Garza doesn't really dribble the ball and make plays. Sam Hauser is an off-ball guy. Like I think he gives you enough versatility and different stuff at the 4, maybe even 5 position for you to have some hope that he would provide something different to the team, especially if you can work on the jump shot a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he does like enable you to have the versatility, like you said there, where like I'm not really trusting many of those guys to guard or be switched on to like a center where maybe he could do it kind of thing. Tier list. I think of like the guys we've watched, I'm pretty intrigued. The age is somewhat of a question mark at 23. I think A tier's proper, and I'll let you
like
speak
A tier
because you're really high on him.
I like A tier. I haven't watched full games for Joshua Jefferson yet. He is one of the next on my list. I think I'm going to watch a batch of guards, then get back to some forwards. I'll probably watch him. There are 2 other people. I think I'm going to watch 3 guards. Let me start over. By the time you're listening to this, hopefully, or in the next few hours, my scouting report on Zuby Ejiofor, Koa Pete, and Hans Steinbeck is out. I'm going to then watch 3 guards, and then I think I'm going to get back to a batch of forwards like Joshua Jefferson, like a Alan Graves, like a Jaden Quaintance, players like that, like kind of the 4 or 5s of the world. So that'll be my next batch of guys. from the highlights and from everything I've read, I like him. I think he's good. I think having an offensive focal point like that at the 4 or 5 spot would be useful to give the Celtics a little bit more of a different look at times at the big man position, at the power forward position. I think if we're living in the dream world of a Giannis trade, having a guy who can make plays as well as he can and maybe has the potential to shoot could be very useful at the 4 or 5 position with the Giannis. I don't think a Giannis trade will happen. I think it's more likely than not that it doesn't happen. However, if it does, I think he could still be a useful piece. I just think he's the type of guy that could help in a variety of situations. I will also say, if we're going in the tier list right now, I think I would probably rock this. I'd put Sinak at the end of A tier. I think the raw potential, like, I'll put it this way. If Sinak is there at 27, I think I would take him over all 3 of these guys on potential alone. I don't think he's necessarily the best win now piece, but I think he has the most potential out of a lot of these guys. So I think he should go there. And I like Josh Jefferson a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I can see the potential with it. I mean, I haven't seen much of Sinak yet. I was not here for the preview for him. But the rest of them, I can really feel the upside. I really like Zuby. Think he's super versatile. Think he's like probably the best version of Joshua Jefferson and also Koa Pete a little bit mixed together. Maybe without the creation of Koa Pete. Koa Pete was more of an offensive weapon. Whatever. Regardless, he's still my favorite, but I think Josh Jefferson does a lot of things that can help the Celtics win games, which ultimately is the goal. And when we're thinking about having a bounce back season next season and trying to make the most of having both of the Jays, I'm with Jack. I kind of think Jalen will be here, which we'll talk about on the podcast that comes out tomorrow. Yeah, I can see the vision. And it's something that they don't quite seem to have, despite having a lot of wings that would probably swing down to the 2 guard, not a lot of forwards that would swing to the 3. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're here every single day with new stuff. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find Jack and I streaming live a half hour before each game when there are games. Be on the lookout for that. More draft stuff coming. We got a couple more weeks. I think 3 weeks. So be on the lookout. Should be a lot of fun. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. If you just want those followed, they'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Read them every single time we do a full pod. So send them in, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We've really appreciated the emails we've gotten from you guys lately. And then the socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's name of the pod. We should have some short form content coming out there for you guys soon. So be on the lookout, subscribe, share it, all that stuff. Follow. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JackSmonNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.